up, y'all? It's your girl Najlah E motherfucking. I'm just playing. And why is this glare? Hold on. Let me get myself in order because you know I was trying to be cute with it, but then it just had to get caught on here. So, but let me get myself in order because we're finna discuss. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Najlah Yvonne. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be doing something different. I promised y'all we was gonna have some different type of content, and this is a video that I've been wanting to do for, sorry y'all, this one it just be sticking out. I don't know why the red. Okay, but this is a video I've been wanting to do for a hot minute because honestly, like, this, I don't want to tell you what it is before, but basically I'm going to be doing a TV show review today. But I just have to say before I even get into the review that the TV show itself literally is what made me want to make a video like this. Like, I have thought about kind of doing a TV show review video, but there were no shows that, well, no new shows, let me say that I just necessarily wanted to, well, we're interested in enough to make a video about. But when I watched this show, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I need to talk about this with somebody because it was just so good. So drum roll please. The show is Grand Army. If you have not watched Grand Army, y'all, make sure you go on Netflix and do what you gotta do and go watch that show, because honestly I was skeptical because whenever people like really boost shows, like, I just be like because I didn't watch a few shows that everybody was like, oh girl, you need to watch this, and then when I watched it I was just like, I mean, it was cool, but you know, not really my style. But this show, first of all, it just reminded me of a lot of the shows that I watched, like especially when I was at PV, because I'm really into old shows. That's what I was gonna say earlier. Like, when I did think about doing this idea, I thought about doing, like, you know, maybe a season review, or like just a debrief, I guess, on older shows that I watched, like Bad Girls Club, or like just old shows that were also popular. Like The Game is another show that I'm always having conversations about that show, because certain shows, the storyline is just so good that, like, you got to talk about it. And Grand Army, I will say, it was definitely one of those shows, in my humble opinion, that you have to discuss. Like, after I watched it, I was just like, question mark, question mark, question mark, literally, because it just really threw me for a loop. But before we get into all that, I'm just gonna start with the pros and the cons of the show. First of all, I really wouldn't say there are any cons, and the only con is something that's kind of uncontrollable. But the only con that I would say would maybe perhaps be the fact that it was so short. But I mean, it's a new show and I think it did really well, so I'm not too much worried about it not being another season, because I feel like, I don't know, I could tell when it's a show that I like, but you know, I might have to just cherish this season because it might not be back. But with this show, it was so good. But I also, like, the way it ended, I just know that there's more to come. Hopefully, we gonna pray that there's more to come, because if they leave us where they left us in this season, I'm gonna be mad. But that would honestly be the only con that I had about the show. If I think of another con, we could come back to this portion. But yeah, let's move on to the good stuff now. So the pros, the first thing that I really liked about the show was, because I'm very picky when it comes to shows, and not even like the plot, that's important too, but I feel like I hate lazily written shows, if that makes sense. So one thing I really liked about Grand Army is immediately when it started, like, I just knew it was finna be some shit. Yeah, I just knew it was finna be some shit, because it started off with, PSA. If you have not seen Grand Army, if you have not watched the show, you might not want to watch this video because it's gonna be spoilers all up and through. I'm gonna try not to spoil, but I feel like some of the things that I say, it's just gonna give the whole plot and synopsis. away anyway. So yeah, if you haven't watched it, go watch it and then come back to this video and then we can discuss and talk about it. But it started off with them singing Cardi B, so I just knew, like, I knew I was gonna like it from that moment on, because yeah, like, I don't know, I feel like how you start off a show is super important, and they definitely grabbed my attention from the get-go. Also, there was a scene in the beginning, like the very first scene was just crazy, like I don't want to tell y'all that haven't seen it, but like I said, you need to watch this and then come and watch this video. But the very first scene, you know, when she's helping her friend get the condom out her thing. Also, I didn't really like Grace, but we're gonna get into that later. But yeah, I did like how it started off. I thought that was very, you know, cool. But back to what I was saying about shows being lazily written. One thing I appreciated about Grand Army is that it was very diverse. And I know a lot of shows try to do the whole diverse thing, because there's a lot of shows I like that, you know, that's like their mission, but I feel like they don't necessarily execute it the right way, or they just kind of do it lazily. Like I said, like Grownish is a show that I like, but I don't at the same time. Like, I feel like they could do so much more than what they've done with it, but that's a whole another video. But just to give y'all like another example, I feel like Grand Army, you know, the cast, first of all, the whole cast was diverse. Like, no two people were the same. But also, in addition to that, there are certain shows that, like, I feel like if it is diverse and they have like the black people and the white people, the black people are always like the villains of the show, basically. And in Grand Army, I liked that it showed, like, it honestly reminded me of my high school, I'm not even gonna lie, but I feel like it showed the true dynamics between black culture and white culture. And, you know, there's other cultures, but those two specifically, because I feel like I said, the black people are always made out to be the villain, and the white people are made out to be, like, you know, the saints. But they didn't make nobody be saints in this show. Like, everybody had their own shit that they had going on, and like, even in the conversations that they would have, like, they just didn't try to make anybody seem above. Like, everybody had their flaws, and I liked that, because I feel like that's just real life. Like, that's how it really is. Like, the black people, you know, they had regular black conversations, and the white people, because I've had white friends, like, the conversations that they had, I could be wrong, but I feel like it was true to the white conversations that I've witnessed. And as far as the other characters, like, what is his name? Sid? The show had great representation, I'll say that, because it showed like the different cultures between the family dynamics. Like, that's another thing that I pay attention to when I'm watching shows. I feel like it's lazy when shows like have characters, and like for some of the characters they don't really show the backgrounds of them, even if they're not supposedly a main character. I feel like when you have an ensemble cast, like if the show is branded as a, like, it's not just one main character, I feel like everybody should have like their little backstory. So that would be my second pro. I like how it just kind of, like, everybody's story was told, basically. Like, it literally gave everybody equal amount of camera time, and you were able to see, like, there were no characters that you had to wonder on, because there are a lot of shows I watch and it's like, yeah, like, I mean, I didn't really know too much about her character, but I know a lot about such and such. So I feel like it makes it easier to, you know, not be biased, because you know everything about everybody. So you can truly, like, if you're one of the people that have your favorite characters or your least favorite characters, you can easily, like, you know, you can get a fair description of each character and a fair background. So whenever you do your judging, like, at the end, I won't say I just rank the characters, but I definitely do have a least favorite character and like a favorite in most of the shows I watch. So I thought it was pretty neat that they did that, and like, you know, every episode. Oh, let me move on to number 3, because y'all get the gist of that part, but this just reminded me of another pro. The cinematography was amazing. Like, y'all know I was a comm major, so we learned all about camera angles and shots and all of that. And I don't know who was the director of Grand Army, but the way it was filmed was just amazing to me. Like I just said, it showed everybody's, you know, experiences and backgrounds, but I just love the way it was filmed. Like, the one scene that's just coming to mind, and you know, trigger warning for anybody that has not seen the show, or even if you have seen the show and you're gonna know what part I'm talking about. But after the situation happened with Joey in the taxi, and the whole scene with her like going back to, I don't know if it was a party, whoever's house she went to after, whenever she was in there with her best friend, who really was not her best friend, and like she was basically telling them what happened and she was bleeding and all of that. That scene was shot so beautifully. Like, really, the whole taxi, like that episode, but specifically the whole taxi scene, like that scene was so great. Like, oh my gosh, I felt like I was there. Like, I'm not like the most like outwardly expressive person, and I literally cried watching that scene. And I actually watched the show twice. I'm still in the process of finishing my second watch, but yeah, I seen that episode 2 times, and yeah, it definitely gets me emotional because you really feel there. Like, and then like the whole, like, I feel like I could just, even though it was silent, that's the thing, there's a lot of scenes where nothing is even said, but you can still feel all of the emotions that the character is feeling. And that might have something to do with the actors also. Like, I feel like you just have to be a really good actor to be able to, you know, convey the story you're trying to tell without even saying anything. But yeah, shout out to Joey's character. I actually forgot her name because I looked up everybody's real names on the cast, but she did what she had to do. Like, I felt her, and I felt like she went through that. Like, that was her basically. So yeah, the cinematography was amazing. Whoever shot it really knew what they was doing, because like I said, I feel like the best scenes, you know, you don't even have to say, like, it's in the body language. Like, there were a lot of scenes and shots that you have to catch. That's why I say it's a show that you probably want to watch 2 times, because it's definitely a show where you'll forget something that happened on the first watch, just because it's so many little like minute details that they throw in that you might miss. Somebody might say something and then somebody will make a face like briefly, but you gotta catch that face because that might have something to do with her and that character later on. Like, yeah, that was just really good. Another pro, another pro, hold on y'all, because I had everything wrote down, but like as soon as I started talking about it, everything just started like flowing. So I was like, dang, this is how I know it's a good show, because I remember exactly what I liked about it. But let me see and make sure there's nothing I'm forgetting before I get in and talk about like each character. Okay, so pro wise, yeah, I can't really think of any other pros besides the fact that I love the diversity of the show. Like, although it was just a high school show, I feel like it had its own spin on it. Like, there's not really a show I could compare to it besides the fact that it's a high school show, and like it's based in high school. I still feel like it definitely made a lane of its own just because of how deep it is. That's another pro. I really loved how deep it was. You know, I used to watch 90210 and like what is it, Degrassi, just other high school based shows, and you know, they're good. Like, they're good for just entertainment though. I feel like this show did a great job of not making it kiddie, even though it was a high school show. Like, my mom, she watched a few episodes with me. I feel like it's a show that anybody could really sit down and watch and dive in if they wanted to, because the subject matter is very serious. That's what I'll say. Like, it's just not really a like rainbows and sunshine like show. Like, it has its lighter, you know, funny moments maybe, but besides that, like, it's very real and very deep. Like, those are the only words I can, you know, think of to describe it. But yeah, it's just 10 out of 10. If I had to give it a rating, 10 out of 10 definitely. So yeah, those are the pros. Now I'm finna get into each individual character, and if any like more pros just pop into my head as I'm talking about them, then we'll discuss that as well. But yeah, I'm just gonna go off the list and just, yeah, let y'all know. So the first person we want to talk about, this is actually my least favorite character, and I was gonna save her for the end, but I feel like the series kind of just started off with her. Even though it started off with other people, I feel like she kind of like, her storyline was the first like that I was like trying to figure out, I guess. So Layla had to be my least favorite character. Like, if I had a top 5 list of characters that I just strongly dislike, she would definitely be on that list. Up there with Jenny Schechter. If you know what the L word is, Jenny Schechter is also on the top 5 worst characters list ever. Oh my gosh. But back to Grand Army. Layla. So my first issue with Layla was just the fact that I get the you know, I get her plight, you know, that she was bullied and, you know, they was picking on her and whatever. But it's just like, girl, like, because, you know, I was bullied. Like, girls did not like me for the longest. So, I don't know. It's like, I kind of resonated with her at the beginning. Because this is the thing. I did not think she was going to be my least favorite character, y'all. Like, I saw her. I actually felt bad when I saw the way she was getting treated at the beginning. But then when she started doing all the, like, I don't know, I just don't do too well with wallowing. I feel like even if like yeah, everybody don't like you, but what are you gonna do about it? Like, not necessarily make them like you, but are you just gonna sit and cry about the fact that these bitches is talking about you, or are you going to, you know, say something back? The other Asian girls that used to pick on her in the class, like, every time they would say something, she would just, and then text whoever she was texting, like, girl, if you don't snap back one day, like, let them know you not to be played with. Like, I don't know, she kind of lost me there. But I was still rooting for her from the beginning, because I was like, why are they picking on her? Like, just because she's not real, she's not really Asian or whatever. Like, they were trying to say she was fake Asian, basically, which is just so high school. But then I was still on her side. I definitely was still on her side. When she lost me is when she met Sid in the hallway. That, you know, that scene where she cried to him, that was pretty sweet. Even though I still feel like she was being a little, like, melodramatic, just because, like, why are you making this about you right now? I just feel like the whole school is on lockdown right now. Like, I don't know. I get her plight. Like, I'm gonna always say I get her frustrations, but I guess it was just the expression of her frustrations that I didn't really care for. Not too sure. She didn't really do it for me. Like I said, I was still rooting for her, like, on first watch, before I knew anything about anything. But she did the most in the hallway with Sid, but it was still cool because they had a little heart-to-heart moment. Then Sid know he was wrong for putting her name. Like, and then I just feel like it was kind of shady because she had just opened up to him. But we're gonna get on Sid later because this is about Layla. But I didn't even feel bad. Like, I feel like that's the thing. That's why I said the cinematography was amazing, because, you know, I feel like they wanted you to feel bad for Layla at the beginning. But then, after Sid did that, and then she was basically, like, relishing it all in. Like, she was happy that she had got added on the, I forgot the name of the list, but the most, like, the bang list of the high school. She was happy about that, and she literally just started wilding after that. And I was just like, well, shit, like, if you don't feel bad, girl, I might as well not feel bad for you no more. Like, okay, like, do your thing then, girl. Like, do your thing. Look, I'm pro hoe, definitely. I'm pro hoe, like, but I do feel like Layla, I feel like she wanted attention. I feel like that's what I didn't like about her. Because I loved her best friend. Like, while we're talking about her, we can go ahead and talk about Rachel. Because she wasn't like a main character, but she was definitely one of my favorite characters. Because she was just... First of all, I feel like she was a great best friend, but she just knew the BS that Layla was on. And honestly, even though we didn't get to really see Layla's character before, like, all of the stuff happened, she did change. And whenever Rachel called her out that one day, I was just like, I mean, somebody had to say it. She was doing the most, going and apologizing to everybody, which I got her intentions, but it's just like this. She was just very calculated to me. Like, the scene that just made me not like her character, like, it, because at first it was just like, you know, like, she had her moments where, like, she wasn't so bad, but really she had shitty moments the whole season, I'm not even gonna lie. Because now I'm thinking about other stuff, like when Rachel had got mad at her family's event. Oh, or when she was at the event, or maybe that was the same event. I don't know, I feel like she pissed Rachel off so many times. But whatever the event was where she was trying to ask Rachel about this nigga, first of all, then, oh my God, I don't know why she did that. Like, I don't know, I understand like her exploring, but I don't know why that was the dude she chose. Maybe because he was like up there like status wise in the high school, but that gave me creep vibes from the beginning. So I don't know, but we're gonna get onto them later. But yeah, I don't really know why she chose him. But the event where she kept asking not Gracie, that's somebody else, but Rachel for advice on the dude, when it's like, girl, we at church, like, and you're here with me, like, and you're just, she was just a little too boy crazy for me. And yeah, and she just cried a lot. And yeah, but the scene when I just stopped, like, she officially became the least favorite character, is when she literally set up another lockdown. I'm not even sure. I guess my computer, not my computer, I guess my camera is just like stopping instead of like turning off. I don't really know why I stopped, but yeah, the scene where she just became my least favorite character is when she arranged the second lockdown. Like, I don't know if people caught that's what she did, but I feel like it kind of made sense. Like, that's another thing about the show that could be a pro, but it probably will be a con for some other people. But it's not a show that really just says like what it is. Like, it kind of just plants seeds for later, like, that you won't understand until later. Like, there was a scene from the beginning, but there were just so many scenes where it's like it didn't really make sense until it made sense, if that makes sense. Like, it would show you something, like with Joey, and we're gonna get on her later, but it kind of showed you the dynamic of, like, it kind of, like, what's the word, it introduced her and her father's dynamic, but it didn't really go into it. But I feel like it showed it because it's showing that it kind of showed why things happened the way that they did for her. Or I don't even want to say why things happened, because I don't even believe in that. Like, I don't believe that anything that happened to her she deserved, or like she brought it onto herself. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. So let me just rephrase that. But I feel like it was important for them to show us her and her father's dynamic at the beginning, because I feel like it showed like the decisions that she made. I feel like it showed why, like, she thought the way that she did. And I feel like it did that for everybody. I was just using Joey as an example. But yeah, it would show you stuff that wouldn't quite make sense. But then, like, as the season went on, you'll be like, oh, like, okay, I get it. Yeah. But yeah, when Layla set up the second lockdown just so she could go with that dude, but also I feel like to just ruin, oh yeah, that was the main thing, to ruin the show because she wasn't in it. I'm sorry, her character was just kind of an attention whore to me, which I don't know, some people like the villains, like some people are like the devil's advocate when it comes to shows. So I'm sure there are people that may have liked her character, but yeah, she just didn't really do it for me. So moving on to Sid, because I don't really have too much to say about him, but I did really like Sid's character. I think he was sweet and he had a good heart. I don't really like the way he did his girlfriend, and not because he came out as gay. Like, that don't have nothing to do with nothing. My issue is that he had multiple opportunities. Like, and I get how hard it is to come out. When I had to come out as pansexual, like, it took me some years to do that, you know? But I just feel like when other people are involved, it's kind of hard, you know? Like, when I came out, I was still single when I came out. But if I was in a relationship and I started having feelings in a relationship, I don't know, like, I'm not saying that he had to like come out before he was ready to come out, but I do think that I just feel like he could have broke up with her earlier, just a little earlier. And yeah, but she also was kind of problematic. But yeah, I just think that he should have broke up with her a little earlier. And also, the only other thing I didn't like is like how he just started accusing everybody after he wrote his essay. Cause it's just like, I feel like after a certain point, like, especially like coming out, like, you have to know when you get a little paranoid, but you start taking it out on other people. Like, I feel like just take a moment and just like understand that, like, this really doesn't even have anything to do. Like, with the teacher, when he thought the teacher exposed him, like, this lady is helping you. Why? It's like, I get it, but I didn't care. Oh, that's the last thing I said. This lady is trying to help you, so it's like, I get it, but... And then when he punched the dude, that dude deserved that punch because he was an asshole, I'm not gonna lie. But it's just like, Sid, like, I feel like that was not even him. Like, I feel like he was just acting out at that time. But yeah, I think he was really sweet, and I feel like he did really love his ex, and I feel like that's why he kind of went about the situation the way he did. But yeah, I can't say that you know, helped the amount of pain or emotions that she was gonna feel. So yeah, I do feel like he could have broke up with her, like, you know, all the awkward moments they had when it was at that party, and well, you know, that could have went a different way. But that's what I'm saying, I don't feel like he had to come out to her in that moment, but I do think that, like, he could have broke up with her then. Even if it's like, dudes break up with girls all the time just because randomly. Like, he could have explained later and just dry broke up with her. Like, I feel like he had some asshole in him the way he did Layla. So it's like, a girl you really love, like, you know, just because she said she was taking the bus and stuff to come see him. I don't know, yeah. I personally would have went about it a different way, but I don't think it takes away from him as a person. I still think he was super sweet. He had a big heart. He really loved his sister. Like, I know that much. He loved his sister. Nobody better say nothing about his sister. I can't think of her name right now. But yeah, he loved her. She was kind of spicy, but yeah. Moving on, Dom. I really like Dom's character. I would say between her and Joey, those were my two favorite characters in the series. I will say though, the reason I hesitated is because I wasn't too sure on if I liked Dom at the beginning, because I just felt like she was doing a little much with Malik, and you know, them making her wallet fall. I don't know, I feel like she was being kind of harsh in the beginning, just because like they was just playing. But and I don't think that they stole the money either. Like, I think that when it fell, because so much happened and Joey got reprimanded in front of everybody. Like, I feel like a lot had happened between the time when her wallet fell and all of that. So I feel like the way it was being framed as if they stole it, and just the way like her attitude was real funky. Even though I loved her, she did have kind of an attitude problem, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I didn't really too much know. Like, I wanted to like her, but I didn't know how I felt about her at the beginning. But what I will say is I loved her friend group. I think they were really like, they were very supportive of each other. And they were funny. It was the one scene where, cause that's a scene where it didn't make clear if she had kids or like if her mom had kids that were her siblings, like, but come to find out they were her sister's kids. Like, that was one of them scenes where it's like they dropped the seed and then later on it made sense. But yeah, it was one scene where her friend was like, them is not your kids. I just laughed out loud because yeah, it was funny. That's what I will say. It was a funny show. But I did like her friend group. I like how they were into like in the latter half of the show, they basically started spreading awareness. Like, I liked seeing that side of Dom and her talking to the boy. I feel like he brought out a lighter side of her, whatever. And what I will say is she did have an attitude problem, but I feel like she was just stressed because she did have a lot going on at home, and you know, she was just trying to make it. But like when she went off on him, I was like, oh my gosh, Dom, like you really just went in on him. Like, she really went in on him too. Like, it wasn't even a light, like, as she went in. But they made up, so I was happy about that. Also, with the green card situation and paying the boy, like, y'all, for a minute I really thought she was gonna do it. And you know, I can't even knock it because, you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do for your family. But I was definitely team go to school, whatever. I was definitely team go to school when it came to Dom. But I respected her character either way, because I remember when she did agree to, you know, go ahead with the arranged marriage, she had told them straight up, like, look, such and such money is for me to go to school. So I was like, okay girl, that's a good way to kill two birds with one stone. But I really didn't care for her mom and her sister too much, even though it's not about them. But yeah, I feel like them, even, it wasn't that they asked her to do that, because like I said, I could see, like, you know, her making a sacrifice for her family. But it was just, her mom was kind of shady to me, and just the way, like, when she came home with the dude and then the whole family was just there with the other dude, like, and then her sister was like, she was just a little spicy to be the one needing something, in my opinion. Like, it was just like she expected Dom to do this because that's her sister, instead of it being like, can you please help me because I need help, like, you see I need help. It was more so like, what you mean you don't want to watch my kids, you know? So yeah, but I really liked Dom's character. Her and Joey's dynamic was interesting because I feel like they were both very dominant characters, just like on two different sides. So I enjoyed seeing them like go at it and like challenge each other and like damn near come to blows. But I also enjoyed seeing them like make up and, you know, basically like see themselves in each other and like basically find a common ground. I really enjoyed that. So I feel like shows, you know, they do tend to highlight like the beefs between women and like the conflicts, but I had never seen a show, I had never saw a show like bring it around like that when they finally sat down and had that conversation and ran into each other. I thought that was real sweet, you know? So yeah, Dom, I would say Dom was my second favorite character of the show, even though it's kind of a tie between her and Joey, just because I didn't know how I felt about her at the beginning. I'll say she was number 2, but I love me some Dom. I'm here for her and John. I'm here for their relationship. I think that was really cute. And yeah, Dom, that was my girl. Moving on, Joey. Joey was literally my favorite character from the beginning, and I might just be a little biased because I feel like she reminded me of myself in some ways, but from the very first scene, I just kind of loved her character. because she started off like helping her friend get this condom that was stuck in her vagina. From that scene, like, that's something you really just, you either A, really gotta love your friend or that person, or B, you just, I feel like it takes a good person or a certain type of person to even think about doing something like that. But honestly, TMI, like, I feel like that's something that I would probably do for my friends. So I just feel like she's real. I like her. And also her demeanor, I liked how she was just like whenever her friend Grace came out, or Gracie, I don't know if it's Grace or Gracie, but when she came out, she was like, nobody say shit. That's me. Like, basically she was riding out for her friend. So I really like that about her, even though like later on come to find out her friends wasn't shit. Like Gracie and her initial best friend, like her best friend that was old boy's sister, I cannot think of her name right now, but y'all know who I'm talking about. The one where, that's another thing, let me find this girl's name because I'm not gonna feel right until I know her name. Oh, another thing, I really like that she was cheer captain. I feel like that was kind of like, I wasn't expecting them to say she was cheer captain, but I loved that she was, because you know I was cheer captain. So I just really feel like I related to her character. But I also loved how she was just so like fiery. Like, I wouldn't say fiery, but she was spicy. She would be seen as spicy or fiery or combative, but I really appreciated how she stood up for what she believed in. Like that teacher that kept trying to play her in front of everybody at the beginning of the season, I really did not like her. And I've experienced staff members like that, like trying to basically come down on you for stuff that they're not coming down on the dudes the same way, or just anybody. Like, yeah, I feel like her, even though it was a little extreme, her doing the, you know, no bras, like free the nipple day, you know, my high school probably would have lost their marbles, even though like people don't wear bras all the time, but like the tank tops and all that, I respected it. Like, I was like, you go girl, because a lot of people won't stand up for certain things. So I did like that she, you know, she stood up for what she believed in at the end of the day. And it was just kind of messed up because I feel like I was saying, like she was that friend for Gracie, and like I feel like she was just there for a lot of people. And somebody said when I was reading about it that if you notice, like all of the people that she associated with were like completely against like what she stood for in the end. Like Gracie was slut shaming her in the middle of the season, and it's just like, bitch, you just had to, oh, I shouldn't be saying bitch, but like, girl, you just had a condom stuck in your whole vagina. Like, you're slut shaming me? But it's not even about slut shaming. It's just the fact that we're friends. Like, yeah, I feel like her friends just weren't real. Honestly, they just wasn't real. But her best friend, Anna, first of all, my theory is Anna was gay or bi. But yeah, my theory was that Anna was either gay or bi, or just simply gay for Joey. And I think that that's why she felt so strongly about her and Tim and their little situation. But even from the beginning, like if y'all pay attention, like the way they greeted each other, like they were just so touchy. And I just noticed because none of the other characters' relationships were like that, so I feel like the show wanted to emphasize like how close they were, like literally close, like besides just being close. And also the first scene, whenever like after her and Tim had spent time together in the lockdown, and then like he was like, I'll see you later, whatever, basically like flirting before they left, and she was like, you know, she doesn't look at you like that, or whatever she said. I was just like, yeah, I think she likes her, because it was just like, it was already like salt being thrown, in my opinion. Like I feel like it was more than just the fact that, because honestly, who cares, like when you're in high school, who cares like if somebody's talking to their brother? Like And I just feel like I wouldn't care. Like, at most, I'd be like, what? Like, maybe shocked or like, really? But not like I feel like it was some stank on that. Like, you know, she doesn't look at you like that. I was just like, yeah. Yeah. But, yes. I feel like it's yeah, I personally believe I think Anna just had a crush on Joey, and that's why she was like so pressed. Like, I feel like she was just overly pressed about the situation. Like, there was another scene where she was talking to the other friend. He was fine, by the way. I hate to say it. Hope I don't sound ridiculous. But that man was fine. Not George. Not him. The tall one. Like, that man is fine. I'm sorry. But he was a creep. But, yeah. Whoever that actor is, like, I need to find him because, yes. But, whatever scene, I think he really liked Joey, too. Well, I think they both were kind of weird. But I think out of the two, I think he actually kind of had feelings for her. And I think that that's kind of why he, like, kind of did the most when everything happened too. Like, I feel like George, he was just a creep, but I feel like his was kind of like him being a creep and out of spite, because the scene when they were at that party and Anna was like, why are they being so obnoxious, or whatever she said to him on the couch. Like, I feel like they were both equally salty about the situation. I don't know, I could be wrong. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, but that's kind of what I gathered from just the dynamic of their whole situation. Yeah, now moving on to what like actually happened to Joey. I don't really yeah, like, I hated, like, watching that scene was just really hard because it was just so, like I said, it was so like real feeling. So yeah, it was very sad to watch. But what was even sadder is watching the trajectory of Joey's character after that, but also just the way that they treated her after the fact. Like, first of all, Anna was literally the worst best friend. Like, for her to be like her just best friend, the way she was making it seem at the beginning, and to just turn on her like that, and like, it wasn't like she just, I feel like she never supported her, honestly. Like, she never really supported her from the beginning. Like, even whenever she told her what happened, like, I remember Anna was just kind of sitting there like, I just told you I was bleeding, like, and that they ripped my underwear. Like, what do you mean? Like, and then she was just going so hard for her brother, which I guess I get, like, go hard for your brother, but at the same time, if somebody tells me that my brother did something to them, I'm gonna look into that. And not because I don't trust my brother, but simply because I just personally feel like, ooh, my earring fell out, y'all. But I just personally feel like nobody's just going to say that or like admit to that just because. Like, as y'all see what happened when she did finally come out, I feel like nobody is gaining anything from saying that they were sexually assaulted. Half the people don't even believe you, and then the other half is like just cracking jokes or siding with men just because they're pick-me's. It's just a whole lot. But I just feel like there was no reason for her to lie about that, and for her friend to not even, like, until the very end when her brother finally came out, like, I just feel like if you felt that strongly about it, there was never a scene where she sat and talked to her about it really, like. And then I didn't really like the scene when she brought it up and she was like, yeah, I've never had an orgy. I think they were playing a game or something, Like, even if it was an orgy, like, girl, why would you, like, you seen your best friend after that? I just feel like it was so, she was purposely being bent. You seen your best friend, like, my best friend, I can tell her energy. Like, you'll know if your best friend is right or not. Like, I feel like she didn't seem okay after the taxi, and then even still, like, they moved past it or whatever. But like I said, even if they did have an orgy, like, I wouldn't have joked about that. Just the way the situation played out. And Tim, he was just as effed up as George and the other dude whose name I can't remember, but the fine one. He was just as messed up as them. But I did, I guess, appreciate he was definitely just as wrong as the other two, but I did, I guess, appreciate how he finally came out and told the truth at the end. Even though the truth shouldn't have been that hard to believe, but his truth was very imperative to the way the whole situation unfolded, because, like, basically I remember them saying that it was too many of them telling their version of the story instead of hers. So it's like, yeah, I feel like he really dropped the ball when it came to telling the truth, because, like, you know, like, I feel like he knew that his truth was imperative to how things would have turned out. And also, like, him just kind of sitting there as everything was unfolding, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way as well. But I read that some people were saying that he was supposed to be high because he was hitting that pin in that scene, if y'all remember. But either way, it's just like, you knew what was going on. And yeah, Joey was being kind of obnoxious with her attempts to, like, challenge him, basically. But yeah, no, like, none of it is an excuse for him not speaking up when he had the opportunity to speak up. So yeah, Tim didn't really feel too greatly about him either. And now, finally, let's get into Malik and his friend. Why did I not think of his friend's name? But his friend whose life he basically kind of ruined over the course of the season. So I was really here for their friendship in the beginning. Like, I just love, you know, seeing black boys do it. Just seeing black boys, like, getting along again. Like, I feel like they had a true friendship, and they both were into music. Like, it was just a really smooth beginning. And everything was actually a little too perfect with them in the beginning. And that's why I was just like, because, you know, whenever a show is just starting off, or like a character storyline is just starting off too positive, it's like, yeah, something finna happen. I don't know what, but I just knew after the way they, like, presented them and introduced them to the show that something was gonna go down. And like I said, I do feel like Dom kind of did the most, and maybe if she wouldn't have done the most, maybe it would have affected the oh, that's another thing that I did not mention when I was discussing Joey. Joey should have stayed in her lane. That was Joey's one flaw that I didn't really care for throughout the show. She should have stayed in her lane, because I feel like her getting involved in the whole wallet stealing is what kind of amplified the whole thing. Because I feel like, you know, it's one thing, which is sad, but it's one thing with a black girl saying something, but when a white girl starts speaking up, even though she wasn't there, I feel like it just added to the incrimination and kind of just, you know, it just made everything escalate bigger than I feel like it would have escalated. But also the school was just really strict, apparently. Like, I feel like the school did the most. But also Malik, he kind of dropped the ball a few times too. Like, when they finally had the last hearing, I don't know what the initial thing he said was, but he said something and then he just said all this other stuff that he didn't even have to say, and I feel like the decision would have possibly been different. But I do think that he really, like, loved his friend. Like, I think he really cared about his best friend. He didn't want him to go down like that, but I do think that he was just kind of, like, wallet. And, like, none of that would have happened if he would have just, you know, like, we in a lockdown, like, just chill out, just calm down. But overall, like, I feel like he genuinely did care about his friend, and like I said, I feel like he didn't want him to go down like that. But I feel like it kind of just did. Like, I feel like after everything happened, it kind of just escalated because the school, I feel like you know what kind of school you go to also. So it's like he should have known that, like, that wasn't the type of school to play with anyways. But on top of that, like, they had a lot riding. Like, it was their senior year, and it's just like they both was trying to do the same thing music wise. Also, I want to know how y'all feel about him taking his friend's spot. I kind of feel like, you know, it is messed up. Like, and him going to see his friend even after they kept telling him not to come, which I also feel like was kind of extra because, you know, they were best friends. But he was angry at him too, so then I was just like, okay, well, he's upset too. But when he went to tell him that he took his spot, I feel like that was just kind of a bit much. Even though, this is the thing about Malik, I feel like he had good intentions, but I feel like his approach would just be jacked up. Like, why would you go tell this boy that, like, his dream, like, you just got it? Even though, like, that is what happened, but we in 2020, like, I feel like he would have found out anyway. He would have seen on social media. Like, it's okay for you to not go over there and rain on his parade like that. I don't know. I just feel like that was a bit much. But like I said, I do think Malik was a good person, and I think he was a good friend who had good intentions, but just a little misguided and kind of like misplaced intentions. Like, I feel like even him saying all that he said at the end, which is what ended up getting him, like, kicked out of school, I feel like he didn't mean to snitch on him, but he just said too much. Like, I feel like he didn't know when to just sit there. Just stop talking. Like, please. Because you're just making the situation worse. But I did like him. I liked him and Dom's friend. I can't think of her name, but I like their little situation. I feel like they were cute, and that was back when Dom was, to me, still being a little, like, hard on the situation. Like, I don't know, it was like she had some animosity towards them, but specifically Malik. I feel like she had animosity towards him. I don't know, maybe it was just all stemmed from the wallet. I don't know, but I liked that little dynamic with him and the friend. But, and I liked, like, him playing an instrument. I feel like that was very unique. I've never really seen that be the thing in the show. And even with Sid, like, Sid was a swimmer. I kind of like how it was just different. Like, they didn't just play football or play basketball like you would assume, because that's how most shows depict our characters. I liked how it was different, and, like, they showed, because there's so many black creatives, like, so that's when I really knew I was gonna like the show, because it wasn't, for once, it wasn't a black boy that's trying to chase a football dream or chase a basketball dream, which is no issue, but there's other types of black boys out here, and I'm sure there's a lot of other black boys out here that probably play the saxophone or any other kind of instrument that probably saw that and were like, wow, like, this makes me feel represented. I don't know, like, it's nice to see yourself on TV. I don't care what nobody says. I feel like it's nice to see characters that not only look like you, but not just look like you and are just being typecasted as something that we're not, or like basically the stereotype of whatever people assume black people to be like, you know? It did a good job, like I said from the beginning, of showing the different layers that all of the races have. Like Sid, he was Indian and he came out to be gay. So I feel like it showed how, like, even though that's not just an Indian thing, I think it showed how those factors can affect your familial relationships also, because that's just a common theme that doesn't just happen to white or black people. Like, I feel like throwing it sounds bad, but adding an Indian to the mix, even though they still had an Asian character, character and a white character, and then they'll just throw an Asian character in the mix for diversity. But it's like, you could have added a Latina, like, or you could have added an Indian, like, you could have added an African, like, even Dom, like, she wasn't just black, she was Creole. I have to go look again, but she was not just black, like, she spoke a whole another language to her family. So I liked that they basically showed like the different types of people that we have in the world, and that's why I say that it wasn't like a shallow show, even though it was based in high school. So I think that that's pretty much all that I have to say about Grand Army. Like I said from the beginning, it was a really good show. Like, I'm probably going to rewatch it again, and probably rewatch it again whenever I, you know, get bored and don't have anything else to watch. I enjoyed the cast members, I enjoyed the plot line. You know, I didn't really, it's a show where you don't really get bored throughout the show. Like, it was just a really good show. Netflix did their thing, and like I said, the way it ended, I believe that there's going to be a sequel, or, you know, a continuance of the plot that they laid out. Probably might have to wait a little while since Corona's in the air and whatnot, but nonetheless, it was a really good show. I give it a 10 out of 10, as I said earlier. If you have not seen it yet, definitely go watch it. Let me know y'all thoughts in the comments, if y'all like have similar thoughts about me. Not about me. I'm getting delirious. If y'all have similar thoughts about the characters to me, or like just any other thoughts or anything that I didn't mention about the show that y'all would like to discuss. Like I said, I love talking about shows. I love dissecting them and just like discussing the plot lines and things that they could have did better, although it was not really much that I feel like they could have did better with this show. Like I said, I wish the season maybe was a little longer, but you know, that's how they do the Netflix shows. They just be trying to pull you in for more. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about Grand Army. Like I said, go tune in if you haven't. You won't be disappointed, and yeah, because I wouldn't lie to you. Like, I don't do shows, y'all, so if I say a show is good, 9 times out of 10 it's good, and I'll let y'all be the judge of that though. And also, let me know if y'all would like to see more shows like this in the future, me talking about shows, any shows that like y'all think I may be interested in based on this video, or any shows just in general that y'all think I would like, or that are just good or popping right now. Just let